Do you guys remember when Nintendo used to be the company that censors because they were kids friendly and they made sure that nothing lewd or violent appears on their platform? Well, apparently those days are gone because now PlayStation is hyper censorious. It's as if the Catholic Church and your mother is on their board, making absolutely sure that everything is sanitized. And you would think, oh, so this is like the kind of video that V complains about the lack of boobies? No, that's not the case, really. To me, what really baffles me is the way they censor. Because it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, they go out of their way, and in this case, right, with Miss Kobayashi, Dragon Maid, they have to put the head upwards, because they're ashamed. They're literally ashamed that some women can have big breasts in real life, okay? Like, they're ashamed that my wife exists, for instance. It's not a flex. I'm in Romania. That type of women does exist in the real world. I know it's astonishing. It blows the mind of the people at California who work at PlayStation now. But with that aside, you would think that this would be okay if they were censoring lewdness across the board. Because then it's like, okay, well, they have like a different vision. They want to be family friendly. And in progressive America, where you have naked feminists screaming on the streets about freeing the nipple, you know, they just can't sell that thing to the market anymore. Like, people just don't want to buy it. People are afraid because America is hyper-Christianized. It is so right-wing that it is more right-wing than the Middle East. So they have to cover the women. They have to, right? It's not like Japan. But no, like, you get a game. Like, for example, Cyberpunk, right? And it's all about the penis sliders. And that is so progressive. That is, that people will buy that because the penis slider. I mean, that is a feature into the game. And it's on PlayStation. That's fine. Okay, then you have Last of Us, which has one of the most disgusting, one of the most horrifying, and I would even say brutal romance scenes. So the YouTube bot doesn't go after me, but you know what I'm talking about. I mean, that scene was so puke-inducing, not only because of the visuals aspects of it. There was also no chemistry between the characters. There was no romance involved. There was no foreplay or anything. Like, all of a sudden, he just takes the girl around and starts doing the nasty. And it was nasty. By God, was it not nasty? I mean, it's an internet meme at this point. One of the developers is the self-insert. Like, why would you even do this to yourself, man? Like, if you're going to self-insert yourself into a fantasy, at least get someone that's remotely attractive. But no, whatever, you know, fine. My point isn't, like, whether or not that scene should exist. My point is, like, what is the standard? What is the standard? This censorship is absolutely ridiculous. Like, if you want to be family-friendly, fine. Be family-friendly, like, censor across the board. If you want to have, like, these bizarre California connoisseur type of scenes in it, then allow everything. You know, be like Steam. But why are people even asking this question? It's the people in charge are ridiculous. Now, I have been presented by some insiders a version of the events which at first seemed laughable, but the more I think of it, it's the only one that makes sense. Apparently, because the games are made in California, and California is very progressive, like, maybe they have transgender on the teams. And when it comes to, like, transgender developers, their sensibilities are different, because when it comes to breasts, they can't have, like, the breasts from Miss Kobayashi. Again, like, look, I'm not saying that this is the case. It's what other people told me. But it's really the only explanation that can pass, right? So, like, this is why they don't like big boobies, because they don't feel it inclusive enough. I think this is, like, so bizarre and so ridiculous as an explanation, but it's the only one that makes sense. It is the only one that makes sense. The same people, like, have a problem, not with, like, hypersexualization, right? Just like if the female drawing has big breasts. That's it. I mean, even if she's fully clothed, may I remind you, the mental freakout of 2020, where you had the Red Cross using Uzaki-chan in order to encourage people to donate blood. And you had Twitter losing its mind over this shit and saying that she's hypersexual, but she was like fully clothed. She just happened to have big breasts. That's it. There are women with big breasts. Look, if you don't believe me that there are women with big breasts, because usually like only men are being outraged about this shit, because like most women don't care. But like go to a store that sells bras, I guess. Look at the biggest bra size and then make the mental connection. I know it's hard if you're a leftist, but try. Make the mental connection and realize that supply and demand exists. So if the bra size is that big and it sells, it means that there must be a lot of women that require that bra size in order to keep the industry going. I don't know how to explain to these people. It is just, again, if you want to censor, okay. I'm not, this is not a video about censorship, because we know that, you know, like, my private company can do whatever it wants, and my private company loves to censor the shit out of art. I know that, okay? Fine, I'm aware. My question is like, what is in the mind of a censor? How do they function? How do they tick? Is it nepotism? Like, is it if you're a progressive company, and you have the connections to the people that do the censoring, then they allow it? Is like money being exchanged under the table? Is it corruption? Why is it that some games are allowed and others aren't? And again, like in some games, the material that we're talking about is far more problematic. I mean, again, like the Kobayashi thing is so freaking tame. It is so freaking tame compared to other things. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. And I want to find out. I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to know who's the guy that made the decision. Whatever, you know. It is what it is, I guess. But every time you see a game getting censored on PlayStation, remember that The Last of Us exists. The Witcher, another example. Like The Witcher in the beginning, he's naked in a bathtub. And it's like, okay. Oh, that's fine. What is the standard? In fact, no, that wasn't fine. That was actually advertised as a feature. That was very progressive. Is it like sexismo? So men are allowed? Unironically. I spoke with the guy that we used to work at Blizzard that I know, and he said that he also had a colleague there, an artist that was just as good as him. And I asked him, it's like, okay, so what did the artist think when the censorship started cracking in? It's like, oh no, because my friend didn't care because he was only drawing men. And for him, like, nothing changed. Like, he could still draw the muscle-packed barbarian just fine. It was just him that couldn't draw the titty anymore. It's like, oh, I see. That's very progressive. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.